Yeah. For Liverpool then, was that maybe their best performance of the season against Aston Villa? And for you, is it a case for Arne Slot, who's just back to basics? Let's kind of use as many title winners as we can, where we can, and just put forward our tried and tested players?
Yeah, I think that was something I mentioned a few weeks ago, to try and almost go back to sort of last season and just add a couple of the signings in there. So I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Obviously, Ekitike played. I don't think there was too many more really in the team in terms of signing wise, and that's not so much a criticism of the players who've come in, but maybe you could look at the manager and say, maybe has he put them all in too much at the start all together as well? And you go back to sort of Jurgen Klopp's time, a lot of the players there, I think of Andy Robertson. So we're talking about Carragher. I'm finding it tough initially at Liverpool. Andy Robertson didn't really play for the first 2 or 3 months at all. He got, bled in a little bit, as I say, gradually. Fabinho was the same as well in central midfield position. So maybe a lot of it has come maybe a little bit too early for all the players who have signed for the club, and maybe they could have been bled in a little bit later, and maybe that's what he's going to do now over these coming months.
What do you think happens when Isak's back fit then?
Ekitike has to play now. I could totally understand it's not easy, and this was always my reservation about buying 2 strikers for that much money who both play in the same position. It's very difficult to see a Liverpool team, or any team really, get 2 strikers on the pitch unless maybe you're playing 3 at the back. It's not easy to do that. And so I understand him trying to get Isak in the team, even though Ekitike was doing well, because he's a great player. He's got to get him fit, and he's also played a lot of money for him. And my mind boggles going forward how this is going to work. But right now, Ekitike's got the shirt. He's playing really well, and it'll probably do Isak a little bit of good if he's not so much out the team, but maybe builds his fitness up more in training than rather than the games right now, because obviously a lot of fingers are getting pointed at him, and it means Ekitike's got to be on the bench, which is not right at the moment.
And I guess it helps to come back into a team that's winning as well, right? And in good form.
But where does he come back in?
Yeah.
I knew this would happen. I knew this at the start of the
you're going to
season.
talk about that later, I'm sure. A huge game in the Champions League tomorrow. Liverpool up against Real Madrid. Of course, all the talk in the build-up has been about Trent returning to Anfield. And what have you made of his start to life at Real Madrid? Because I think he started just a couple of league games.
Well, he's found it tough just through injury, really. And you've got to remember who, not so much the guy he's replacing. He was coming up and going to compete for a position, up alongside, a legend, Carvajal for Real Madrid, won numerous Champions Leagues. I think he scored in the Champions League final a couple of years ago as well. So he's a special player, special character, but he's just got an injury as well, which will help Trent in terms of getting games. But I think they've been using Valverde at right back a little bit like the way Liverpool using Szoboszlai at right back at times this season. But so Trent will eventually get his head at right back now with the injury to Carvajal. But I'm not sure it will be at Anfield. I think he'll be on the bench.
OK. You looking forward to it, though?
I am. It's a great game. Real Madrid came last year.
Yeah.
Liverpool had a great result. They'll want the same again. Xabi Alonso came last year with a different team by Leverkusen, and Liverpool got a great result again. Seems so long ago, doesn't it? These great results for Liverpool. So hopefully Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso get the same treatment.
OK, yeah, same treatment.
Now, we were just joking there when we were saying kind of crisis over, but the next game is Real Madrid in the Champions League and then Manchester City away. I mean, it shows how vital it was to get those 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah, but they've got it, and now they're bouncing into that Real Madrid game. Be interested with Trent coming back there, it's adding emotion to the game. I fancy him against Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid will. One thing you're not going to get, you're not going to get any low. You got no long throws. You're not going to get any long balls, and you're not going to get a low block. They're going to come out and they're going to play, and they're going to play on the front foot, and they're going to try and beat you. And I think that's exactly what plays into the hands of Liverpool. Of course, they've got wonderful talents all over the pitch, but so have Liverpool.
OK, well, Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their clubs. You can represent your club. Scan that QR code or visit the Sky Sports app. For more details, we can speak to Liverpool supporter Connor Ray now. Hi, Connor. How big was that win on Saturday?
Yeah, it was massive. I think it was most needed, right? I think even just looking at the table, looking at the where we could have ended up, if we'd have lost that game, we're down in I think 11th, and if we win it, we jump up to 3rd. Like, it's so compact, and every point is crucial at this stage of the season. So it's it was a massive result, absolutely.
And what did you make of the starting lineup? Only 2 new signings in it.
I think, I saw a lot about this in the build-up to when the team was announced, and then afterwards as well. With I think it's important to remember, Isak, Frimpong and Leone are all injured, right? So there's no chance that they were all gonna get in the team. And Kerkez needed taken out of the team as well, based on his recent form, because he hasn't been playing well. And I think Slot's done him a favour there, taking him out of the team. Really, I was glad to see that one. And then I was surprised when the starting lineup was announced and Wirtz wasn't in it. But Slot went back to basics with that midfield, and he got it right in the end. So.
At the weekend. Just a quick one on that team selection before we move on to the Real Madrid game. What do you read into the fact that Wirtz wasn't trusted to start, but he still sees Salah as undroppable?
Yeah, I think Salah proved in that game. We've been asking for Salah to prove in a game for a little while now, for a few weeks now, why he should be undroppable, and thankfully he did in the Villa game. That was comfortably his best performance this season, so that was welcome to see. And I think, as I said before, the camera failed. Sorry about that. The going back to basics for Slot was important. I heard Tim talk about it just before with West Ham as well, and how it yielded results for them last night as well. And that's what he did with that midfield, keeping Salah out on the wing and going back to a team that's as close as possible to the team that won the league last season. I was surprised to see Wirtz not starting, but as I say, it worked. So what do I know? It's that's why Slot's paid the money to manage the team, and I'm not.
Connor, who plays if Wirtz plays? Who would you left out?
I would have left out before the Villa game. I'd have left McAllister out, because I think he's been on a torrid run of form himself lately. He looks he had looked, I should say, before the Villa game, a shadow of the player he was last season. But the Villa performance was massive for him. Again, I thought he really stepped up and was back up to the performance levels that he was showing last season. Absolutely. I think having Wirtz and Salah in the team that's a problem you try and approach when you're winning games, trying to bring them in and get them to play together and all the rest of it. When you're losing games and you've got to stop the rot, I think it's going back to basics. It's shoring up that midfield, because they've been getting played through far too easy in the last few weeks. Yeah. And that's what we did, thankfully.
Liverpool returned to the Champions League at Anfield facing a real litmus test. Real Madrid arrive in strong form and ask questions of every weakness Liverpool showed in recent weeks. The Reds come into this one off the back of a crucial 2-0 comeback win over Aston Villa that ended a damaging run, but the squad issues that dogged them remain. Ryan Gravenberch has returned to fitness and looks likely to feature after his goal against Villa, which gives Slot more solidity in midfield. Conversely, Jeremy Frimpong and goalkeeper Alisson remain sidelined with hamstring problems, while Alexander Isak and Curtis Jones are doubts after recent knocks. That limited availability will shape Slot's selection options. Tactically, this is a clash of styles. Liverpool must find a way to control midfield tempo and avoid the turnovers that Madrid punished most ruthlessly. Keeping possession under pressure and preventing fast vertical transitions will be essential. Slot may therefore prioritize midfield compactness. Gravenberch, partnered with Alexis McAllister or Dominic Szoboszlai, gives balance, but the manager must also weigh the need for attacking edge through Salah and advanced creators. Real Madrid arrive weakened in defense by several injuries to senior center-backs and fullbacks, which may mean a reshuffled backline. However, their attacking nucleus, led by Jude Bellingham and the likes of Vinícius Jr., remains devastatingly effective and will probe any space left in behind. Liverpool's right flank, likely occupied by Connor Bradley in Frimpong's absence, is a probable hotspot as Madrid will look to isolate and exploit mismatches. Emotionally and contextually, the fixture carries huge weight. A good performance and positive result would not only boost confidence after Villa, but also validate Slot's adjustments and rotation policy. A poor display, by contrast, would revive questions over selection, defensive organization, and squad depth. For Liverpool, the immediate priorities are clear: win the midfield battle, protect the backline from diagonals and turnovers, and make set pieces count. Only then can Anfield become a genuine fortress again against Europe's elite.